I'm Joey,
And I'm Jeremy.
and this week we were talking about the album Sleepwalking Sailors by Helms Alee at my own request.
I really like this
Um,
radio DJ vibe you have going on here for this episode. It's very nice and chill.
well,
Maybe I
I
shouldn't have
figure,
called it out.
no, dude, if I figure, I figured that if I'm going to start the episode, I might as well, welcome back to like, I don't know. I feel like gotta have a
No,
voice.
it's
I gotta
it's it's
find my
smooth.
voice.
Yeah, I think we should both find a voice for the podcast.
Because Lord knows, my real voice, no way, Jose.
That's not true. You got a nice. I think we have nice voices for this shit. Maybe you
Maybe.
more than me. You've at least been told that by somebody, right?
I've been told by so many people that
See,
well, it's that my voice puts them to sleep is the thing.
that means it's a good podcast voice.
I guess that's true. I feel like whenever I listen to the podcast that I sound like a stuffed up stoner. Like my nose is full of something and
Well, I
I'm
mean,
just
that's just the whole thing with like hearing yourself in a recording. It's kind of
that's true.
jarring. I'm
That's
used
true.
to it at this point for me because I'm the one editing these podcasts every week. So I'm hearing myself and critiquing myself for a few hours additionally every week. But we're getting off track already.
Already.
To
Oh god,
nobody's
man.
surprise, we're
Oh
talking
no.
about Sleepwalking Sailors by Helms Alee. Why did you pick this album for us, Joey?
I mean, a lot of it was just to kind of break up what's been going down, like our journey. Like I
Yeah,
figure I'll throw in something new just because I mean we haven't really done like a rock album yet either,
yeah, it's
which
true.
is kind of surprising given like our backgrounds. But
Yeah,
I mean it's about discovering new music. Most of the rock music that we listen to, we both listen to.
that's true.
So there's a
But
lot of
there's
overlap there.
still there's still a lot that neither of us have heard, or that one of us has heard in the other one, just because that's the nature of our backgrounds. I suppose we're not perfectly aligned, but you're right. There is a lot of
Yeah.
overlap. I think.
And I've found a new to me band that the music kind of reminded me of Helms Ali. So I was like, oh yeah, they're in my mind. I'll go ahead and throw it in there. So,
Okay, okay.
but yeah,
When did you hear of Helms Ali? I think you mentioned last week that you found them because they were like on a related station, or they were like a recommended thing because you listened to Mastodon was the
yeah,
band that you
it
didn't
was,
say, but it was implied.
it was definitely implied to us, maybe not to other
Implied to
people, but
us. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we each knew who we were talking about. It was Mastodon. I was just looking through my music service, and like it was just one of those times where I was like, man, I'm really in the mood to listen to Mastodon, but I've listened to so much Mastodon. I need something
Yeah.
else. And I just went through the related artists and boom, bam, bam. Their
How
little
how long
profile,
ago? How long ago was this?
probably like 2.5 years ago,
Okay,
maybe.
so you've listened to
It
them for a
was,
while now.
yeah. And
Okay.
man, it's, it, there's a very specific reason that I kind of gravitated towards these guys that I will get into whenever we're talking about it. But yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Okay.
they just kind of stuck with me.
Yeah, and I think for good reason. Um, but we'll I don't want to excite you just yet,
Oh no, oh no.
but we're gonna get into it.
I
I
think I
think.
know a few complaints that you might have.
Well, we'll see. The album art for this album, I actually like it a lot.
Me too.
It's like a painting of some gnarly behemoth anglerfish
Yeah.
with very long and thin teeth that are crooked in a way that it spells their band name Helms Ali in
Hmm.
his teeth. And
And
there's a
there's a little
body
guy
or a man.
swimming towards him.
Yeah, he's just kind of. I don't know if he's dead or alive, but he's floating in the water. It seems
He looks to have an arm outstretched, so I'm hoping he's alive and he's
he's
being
reaching for
attracted
the shining light.
because that's what anglerfish do. They bring you in with their big dangly lights, and then you just try to get it, and they eat you. So,
It's true. That is their whole existence.
oh man, I feel okay. No, I feel like I'm just so scatterbrained right now thinking about like But no,
It's because you're excited. We're
it
both.
is
I'm excited about talking about this album. I don't know if you
good.
are. I guess I
Well,
shouldn't project that onto you.
I didn't do the amount of crazy scientific research that you said you did. So
It wasn't really scientific, but for I guess we can just go ahead and say it.
yeah.
There were no lyrics that I could find for this album online, which for me
Nor could I.
is like my worst nightmare because I'm a procrastinator. I was prepping my notes, or I sat down to prep my notes, and normally I pull up the lyrics because, as previously established, I'm shit at listening to lyrics to begin with. So I went to pull up lyrics, and there weren't any. So I kind of panicked, and then I spent like 3 or 4 hours transcribing what I believed to be the lyrics, playing 5 seconds at a time, and looping it over and over and over again until I felt like I had a good idea. It was laborious, but I think I got some good results out of it. Maybe nonsensical results, but it'll be fun to talk about at least.
Well, I mean, I guess we can just get right into it because that doesn't sound like that was an activity that was full of pleasure. Maybe.
Yeah, it was kind of half and half, but I see where you're going.
Oh God. Okay, please.
The first track is called Pleasure Center. Joey was trying to segue, and he was dragging it out as long as possible. Uh, Tell me what you think of this song.
What I think of this song. Okay, so I will just go ahead and say that, like most of the music that you listen to, or how you say you listen to music, that is kind of how I approach this album whenever I listen to it. I don't pay too much attention to what they might be saying or stuff like that. This is one of the few albums where I do that.
How dare you?
Yeah. So it's a good thing you sat there and figured out every single lyric. But
Well, I don't know about every single lyric,
yeah.
but I think I got close in a lot of places.
So I like it. I like this, and I'll just go ahead and say I really like the the scream guy.
Yeah,
His name's Ben Verellen. I like his like dirty vocals a
yeah. It
lot.
sounds a lot like. Of course, now I can't think of their names. The guy from Mastodon that does their harsh vocals, Troy. That's his
Troy,
name.
yeah.
I couldn't think of it, but yeah, it has a very similar quality to it, I think,
Hmm.
and I quite like it as well.
Well, good. Yeah. So I also just in my notes I put I can't find any lyrics online, so any lyrics I do are at my own interpretation.
Yeah,
Listener beware. So
yeah. The song itself musically, because that's kind of always my starting point, and
mhm,
especially with this album, it's got like a nice opening guitar drone
mhm.
that gets all vibey. And there's like a nice guitar riff and some pounding drums, and then there's like a heavier riff that comes in when he's doing the dirty vocals, and it's very reminiscent of Mastodon. I went into this knowing it was going to be similar to Mastodon, and I think it both helped and hurt my opinion of these songs,
Yeah.
depending on the song. I think because I was comparing them to Mastodon, who is one of my favorite current bands,
Mhm.
and I think one of yours as well.
Yes, it is, and that's kind of why the first time I listened to them, I didn't immediately like them as much as I do now. I mean,
Sure.
I liked it, but having it compared to Mastodon kind of
Right. It's
put
unfair.
yeah, it is unfair because Mastodon is in a complete league of their own, and
Yeah.
Helms Alee is in a league of their own in the sense that
It's
I feel
different.
yeah, it's different, so it scratches a different itch for me. I feel like their music, maybe not necessarily on Pleasure Center, but on other songs from the album that we'll get into, like they kind of have a math rock type vibe where it's
Yeah.
the guitar is a little it's different. Like Mastodon's more sludge kind of. There's progressive elements in Mastodon. Not I guess sludge is maybe the wrong word, but it's at least a lot of their earlier stuff is kind of more
Yeah.
heavy oriented, and this is kind of more switching back and forth between clean and heavy, I
Right.
guess.
which to defend Mastodon, I'm a big fan of Mastodon's newest two albums. They're much more proggy,
Hmm.
and I think Mastodon has had
Yeah.
a good progression from that kind of rough and harsh sludge feel to their more progressive albums. I like all of their albums, I think, but I
Hmm.
tend to listen more to their prog albums.
Yeah. I feel that.
But we're not talking
I'll
about
second
Mastodon.
it. Yeah.
we,
No. No.
we
No. No.
should stop comparing this band. I guess we had to bring them up. This is the reason we're listening to this album is because you like Mastodon. They were unrecommended. I
Hmm.
like Mastodon. Here we are. That's out of the way. I tried to be more objective about this than just comparing them. But what do you think Pleasure Center is about lyrically?
What do I think it's about?
Yeah,
I mean,
or
I think it's man. That's a tough one because the feeling I get from it is almost like a sailor out at sea. Sleepwalking sailors. Oh my god. But
yeah,
like, so one of the lyrics that get like, I don't know if it's an exact lyric, but he talks about standing by a body of water, skipping stones in it, and
yeah,
then references being on a ship and having good aim. I'm guessing from growing up near the sea, skipping stones. So he's trying to capture something like a beast, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't have any lyrics to reference and I didn't loop and loop and loop.
yeah. No. So I think you and I are on the same page at this point, and I
Okay.
don't know if it was because I mean, obviously, the album's "Sleepwalking Sailors." Their band name Helms Alee is a nautical term, I believe.
Mhm.
So there's
Yes.
already that, but add in the layer of listening to Mastodon. Mastodon has an album called Leviathan, which is a fantastic album, uh,
Yes.
and it drew me to that same conclusion. It kind of seems like the song is setting up some sort of Ahab type character who has
Yes.
lost something or someone at sea and seeks vengeance against this creature, or maybe if not able to achieve vengeance, at least die at the hands of said creature.
Man, it's I didn't want to exactly like I was trying to like mosey around the exact Ahab comparison, but that's totally what I get because I was like, well, somebody might think about Blood and Thunder, Leviathan, like
Yeah.
but it's I'll try to make less comparisons to
Oh
Mastodon
yeah, I
then.
definitely do. I think there are a few notes that I mentioned Mastodon from here on, but
Hmm.
I think it was just because it was right out of the gate. It was the freshest thing on my mind. I hadn't had time to like
Yeah,
really get into the album to separate them.
yeah,
But water theme, Mastodon sound,
yeah.
it's
It's
very
bound to
similar.
happen. Like,
Yeah. I cannot segue at all into the next track. It's Tumescence, which I looked up,
is that how you
and
say it?
I believe so. I didn't look up how to pronounce it. I assumed it was
Hmm.
tumescence, but
That's what I
tumescence
think it is.
it means bloated or swollen.
Okay.
So from that, uh, I kind of had to pull that into the lyrics here. I know I usually start with the music, but because we're talking about the
Yeah.
song title, I feel like there's been a mutiny on this ship of some sort. Someone
Ooh.
has died and become dead weight. They mentioned dead weight and getting rid of the dead weight and tossing it overboard.
Hmm.
And the music kind of evokes this feeling of maybe a mutiny um, on board the ship, which I'll elaborate on in the next couple tracks. But that was my initial impression at this point in the album. I noted I cannot even understand there are clean female vocals that come in on this track, and I can't even understand them half the time because it's like
Yeah,
they bury the vocals so deeply
they
in
do.
all of this sludgy guitar sounds, which is fine. I think it's a cool aesthetic, but when I'm trying to interpret lyrics, it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, especially with her, because there's three people in the band. There's
Right.
Ben Verellen, who is the guitar, and I'm thinking he is the dirty vocalist. And I mean, I'm sure
Hmm.
he sings some clean vocals. Then there's Dana
Yeah, he does.
James, who okay, Cool. She is the bassist and the female vocalist, and then man, Hozoji Mattison Margolis. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He's the drums, and also I'm thinking another clean vocalist. But
Okay.
like they layer all their vocals together sometimes, and it is just so
Right.
hard to figure it out. Which I like this. I really like the sound of the layered vocals, but
Mm-hmm.
I get like that is another thing that keeps me from understanding what they're talking about. Which, to
Yeah.
be fair, I kind of I don't know, in a lot of rock music where there's harsher vocals and stuff, you can really treat the screaming as another texture, like another instrument. It's another
Yeah.
kind of like talking about how people use their vocals in sampling, or how Kanye
Mm-hmm.
West, to call back to that, how he uses voice as an instrument. Like that's kind of how I
Yeah.
view this album and this type of
Oh, for sure.
vocals.
There are definitely points in this album where they're not even singing words; they're just kind of vocalizing, and I think that lends itself very well as like a texture kind of a thing to add in, like you were
Mm.
saying.
But yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna take your word for it about them trying to get rid of dead weight, and because I had no idea what tumescence meant. I should have looked it up.
Don't you wait. When we get to track 4, I'm gonna blow your mind. I blew my own mind. I think
Oh,
I
I
made a
hope
discovery.
you do. I hope you blow my mind on track 4. I really hope you do. That would be great if you could.
Before we
But
get there, though,
yeah, tumescence, the music. So you've talked about your theory on the lyrics. I I don't know. It comes in with these tribal type drums coming in
mm-hmm.
behind the heavy riffs, and I like it. In this, it starts off with the female vocalist, which this was another album that kind of helped me get over my bullshit about female vocalists,
Yeah,
because well, I kind of get the idea that there are some clean vocals on this album that you aren't in love with, because there there's some of them where it seems like it's not. I don't want to say not on key, and
yeah,
please correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm overstepping or anything, but there were some points on the album where I was like, I don't know if Jeremy will like this, but
yeah. I mean, I honestly, the female vocals I think got on my nerves a bit
mhm,
in certain points, but for like all the male vocals, I didn't really have any issues with.
okay, yeah. There's one. I'll leave it. I'll leave it. I was about to reference another song, but we're already too busy talking about other songs. But Two Methods, it's I don't know. Just to go back to Ben's like screaming vocals, it really scratches an itch for me in a way that like I don't know how to describe.
Yeah,
Like it, if I could think of a way to describe it, it would be like it's the same reason I listen to so many like super raw vocals,
yeah.
and it's because you can kind of live through it,
It's
and
very cathartic.
yeah, like it feels like I'm screaming it, and it's like it feels like it's letting a weight out of my chest, because it's so like I don't know if it's guttural, but it feels real whenever he's screaming, and it's just a really nice feeling for me to hear it, I guess.
No, I'm right there with you. And
Yeah.
that's why I like Mastodon the way I do. Like Troy's vocals are very similar, and I think it's just it's a fun to sing along if you're in a car, but b it just even if you're not actually singing, you can feel it, and it feels like very tangible.
Yeah. Well, nice. Very, very nice. I was gonna I was about to try to go to Pinniped, but
Pinniped.
Pinniped is the next song. I'm not 100%. I know it's a type of animal, but
See, I
or
didn't look this one up.
sea
I
creature.
just accepted it.
I thought it was like a snail type thing, but I don't
I'm gonna
know.
Google it right
I'm
now.
googling it right now. It's a pinniped is a seal or a walrus.
Okay.
So
Okay. Cool.
I was 100% wrong.
mean, seal, snail, same thing.
Yeah, they starting in with the same letter. That's something.
They're one syllable. It's fine.
But this one, I think this song could have kind of been like, I don't want to say their claim to fame, but I feel like this song should have been played somewhere because it's not my favorite song on the album, but I kind of get there's parts of this song that I feel like could have been on the radio or could have been on like if you're playing Rock Band and you hear the music in the background at the menu, I feel like it could have been like that, like
Yeah,
right before the screaming. It sounds like
yeah.
something you'd hear on like, I guess I won't give away our exact location with this, but that alternative rock station that we used to have that is no longer an alternative rock station.
Yeah,
It's yeah, I feel like I would have heard this song on there or something.
I can see that for sure. I do dig the song musically. I have a gripe with the drums at this point on the album, and
Ooh.
that's they feel very samey, and
Hmm.
I don't know if it's fair because again, bringing Mastodon back up because I can't not. Mastodon's drummer's incredible.
Yeah.
He's so good at what he
Hmm.
does, and a lot of the drums on this album, at least up to this point, and it actually extends further into the album, they seem very reliant on like big hits on like low toms and stuff, and then when there's like actual drum beats, they're fairly simple. And so I maybe I'm just spoiled, but they kind of like I was like, oh, it's just this again. They're just bouncing back down to the low toms for some big hits, and then having a normal beat. Maybe that's just her thing, and maybe people like it, but it's not my thing.
Yeah, no, there's I don't have a gripe with the drums on this song, but there is something I will say about the drums on another song whenever we get there.
Okay.
But this song was the only one I could actually find lyrics online for.
Oh, I didn't even look after I couldn't find lyrics on the first one. I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah, there are lyrics on Genius. So I wanna know what you thought the lyrics. What
Okay, yeah.
what did
So
you?
I got most of the lyrics on this one because there's a lot of clean vocals on it,
Mm,
and they're pretty intelligible. But it's still they talk about bad weather, battling your eyes, and wearing a disguise, and stolen alibis and stuff like that. Other words that rhyme with I, but
yeah.
putting it into my concept album, my story thus far, I believe the mutineer from the prior track has assumed the former captain's identity and is now kind of lost at sea.
Okay. Okay. I don't have anything to rebut
Which
that.
doesn't really make sense, but once we get to the next track,
It
it'll
will.
it'll all make sense.
Oh my god. I hope it does. I hope it does. Because I don't know. Like I didn't know the lyrics to this before I obviously like there's some you can just make out, but with not being able to understand the lyrics on other songs, I kind of just chalked it up to like, whatever.
Yeah,
And these are some very cryptic lyrics. Like people, I don't know. I don't think people give enough credit to songs in this style because a lot of people kind of just dismiss the lyrics. And maybe I'm just
yeah.
generalizing here, but
No, I mean
I don't
when
know.
people think of metal and hard rock and screaming lyrics, they're like, oh, that's not music. They're just yelling. Nobody can understand what they're saying, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Which is true on
Which,
this album for me, but it's not as general. I think, and I really do enjoy the lyrics that I've picked out for this
yeah,
album. But again, it's kind of hard to interpret, at least within the time frame that we were given.
yeah. And man, after hearing what you said about the fourth song, I'm just super fucking pumped to get there. So I'm gonna finish with the music from Pinniped. It's I don't know. There's parts of it that are very mellow. The key change at the end. This is another point where I had to note Mastodon. There's a key change at the end, and
Yeah,
it honestly sounds like something they would do. And
yeah, I noted that as well. I wasn't gonna say that note because we've already been harping on Mastodon so much, but yeah, there's some definite Mastodon vibes on this song.
I promise I will stop after this, but I just had to do it. I'm
Yeah, I
s-
think I stop after this as well.
I'm and I'm really sorry to Ben, Dana, and I have to look at his name to make sure. Hazoji. I hope I'm saying it right. If somehow you all hear this podcast, I'm sorry, and please know that any reference to Mastodon is only a compliment to you.
Yes, 100%. I know it sounds like we're kind of saying like, oh, they're a discount Mastodon. That's not true. They're
Yeah.
in a similar vein as Mastodon. They're different from Mastodon, and maybe I need to pull my head out of my ass
Yeah.
because I'm a spoiled little brat.
Pull my head out of my Mastodon.
There it is. There it is. The one joke of the night.
Oh
Oh,
god.
10 out of 10. All right,
Okay.
we're moving on unless you
Yeah.
have anything else to
No,
say.
no.
Track 4, Dangling Modifiers.
Yes.
Uh, I really like the guitar intro
Hmm.
and the music on this track overall. I understand most of the lyrics, and I think it gives me a new narrative for the album. So bear with me. I'm going to
Okay.
ramble here for a second. I'm thinking their Ahab character sets out to claim vengeance on a beast that killed someone he loved, right? In
Hmm.
Tumescence, the mutiny that I was thinking happened in his mind. He was going crazy out on the seas for so long, and it seems like he's developed this second personality that has taken over his mind. The lyrics, I think they say, "Tell your brain until your brain kicks the cage" or something.
Hmm.
And then in Pinniped, you hear about a stolen alibi wearing a clever disguise, but he's lost at sea. This could be an additional layer of metaphor where the beast that he's hunting is some disease or mental illness or loss of sanity. And he was trying to silence the second personality and then lost to it and is now lost trying to fight his way back in his own mind, kind of a thing. In this track specifically, it seems like he's trying to pull himself together and get ready to make another attempt to reclaim his mind, because without being able to reclaim his mind, then people he loves are probably in danger and going to die because reasons.
Man. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with your theory because, as stated previously, I don't have a better one, but I like it. I really like it
Yeah, I'm gonna send this episode to the band specifically, and they will confirm or deny it for sure. But
because one reason why I really like it is because this is probably my favorite song on the album.
yeah,
It is. I mean, maybe it's not, but it's definitely up there. I
I
just
will say it is not my favorite track, but it is up there. I do have a favorite track noted.
oh, okay. I just like the way that intro riff. It's kind of, I don't know. I'm not a very musically inclined person, at least when it
That's
comes
not
to
true, Joey.
no, it at least when it comes to like being able to describe riffs and stuff. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what to call this riff, but it's like
it's good. That's what you call it.
it's just a good riff, and it like just the whole track kind of builds off of it, and just the way that the clean vocals come in, and then much like they do on other tracks, whenever the screaming starts to come in, it just kicks it into overdrive,
Yeah,
and then it goes back to clean, and then it comes back harder, and then it just like it's almost like after that second little change, it hits into like a halftime type feel where the drums kind of slow down, but the guitar is still pushing forward, and
yeah. It
it's
kind
beautiful.
of maybe I'm trying too hard here, but it kind of evokes this imagery of waves crashing against a ship. Right, we're
Yes,
already in this mindset, so the music is coming in waves, and they'll crash into the side, and things will be chaotic for a little bit, and then it'll calm down for a little bit, and then another wave will come and crash into the side, and it's kind of that's what life's like at sea.
I like that. I like that metaphor. Is that a metaphor? Is that what that is?
I suppose so.
Comparison. But I like it. It. I should have made it. I feel like a dumb person over here. You're just the guy with all the thoughts.
Joey, I spent like 5 total hours analyzing the song yesterday alone, or this album yesterday alone. So I'm on another level right now.
You are, and I feel like I should be on that level considering I'm the one who brought this album up. I was like, "Oh, let's talk about this album," and you're
It's
over here
fine.
like, "Oh, but yes, in Tumescence, whenever they throw the man overboard, this it leans into this," and I'm just like, "I like the riff. It's pretty cool.
Hey, they're good riffs.
They are good
It's
riffs."
it is very important. This is kind of a fun role reversal aspect, I think, where you're focusing more on the music and I'm focusing more on the lyrics. So we're gonna ride it out.
Yeah, yeah, ride it out like a wave,
Yeah, exactly.
man. So, yeah, it's just this also. I'm just gonna keep harping on this guy's screaming, but that I think that's what makes it for me in this song is like
Yeah,
he just hits another level with it towards the end of the song, and I just really like it. It's just very nice, and it makes me feel good. And isn't that what music's supposed to do?
it is for sure. And I think I didn't note this specifically because I didn't have enough time to put more thought into this album. But I feel like the clean vocals and the harsh vocals and the female vocals are all playing different characters within this man's mind or within this man's story. And I go into that a little bit, I think, in some of the later tracks,
Hmm.
but I didn't have enough time to really like focus in on that and say like, oh well, when he screams, he's saying these kind of things. When he's doing the clean vocals, it's this kind of thing. But I feel like that is another layer of awesomeness in this album.
Well, yeah, I mean that could definitely could play into it if I don't know if the screaming could be his. Had mentioned it was like a mental illness or some sort of
Yeah,
madness taking over. That would I could see that because that's kind of the vibe I get from it is like it's an unhinged portion of his personality.
right. But
But
I don't know. I haven't confirmed that theory. I haven't put a lot of thought into it, but it did pop into my mind.
well, all I can hope is that me not knowing all of the lyrics isn't too much of a burden on you.
It's a pretty heavy burden, but it's not. I don't know.
Well,
It's not that bad.
that makes me feel pretty slimy, almost like some sort of worm.
We're trying so hard to get
So
there.
that's the thing. They don't know unless they listen to this album. Like they're just like, what the
Yeah,
fuck are they talking about? The
these,
next
these
song,
guys are just like,
the next song is
go
heavy.
for it.
It's heavy worm burden. So
Heavy worm burden.
which I like whenever I was because I tried to look up the lyrics to this song and
Hmm.
apparently it's a heavy worm burden whenever an animal has a lot of like intestinal worms. So
Well,
it could fit with the whole tumescence bloating aspect.
sure.
Like maybe, although that if that was a person, maybe this is the beast and it has eaten something. I don't know. You're the guy
Yeah.
who knows the
So
lyrics.
yeah, I think tying that in, I think at some point in this album, I noted that it seemed like he had lost a limb, or that he had like. I mean, I guess at the beginning, right? He's seeking vengeance on this
Mhm.
creature that has taken something from him. Maybe he lost an arm or a leg or something to this creature, and it's gotten infected and shit's gotten inside of him. Uh, but I don't know.
Dude, I don't know either. Like, I feel like I'm just out here at sea with no sort of life preserver, and somebody was just like, "Hey, what are the lyrics to this album?" And I'm just like, I don't know, man.
No, fucking
I just like the way it
fucking lost.
sounds. Is this how you feel?
I mean, I don't feel lost most of the time. I don't think about it. Nobody asks me about lyrics and songs, so
Well,
it's
I'm gonna.
it's, it's fine.
This is the first song I heard by them, though.
Interesting. This song specifically, as soon as the drums and the vocals come in, reminds me of a Green Day song called "Are We the Waiting," and it's so like you need to listen to that song
Okay.
after this podcast, but just like for at least like the first 5-10 seconds
Yeah.
because you're gonna agree with me. It sounds very similar. But the second half of the song, definitely not Green Day-esque at all.
Yeah.
The female vocals come back in this track when the music starts to space out a bit and it gets less Green Day-y, which I thought was fun. And I think that makes sense given a connection that I made later in the album. Kind of what we were talking about with the female vocals being its own character.
Yeah.
In this song, I had a very different take on it. Because he says at the beginning, found a place in stealing, flagged the earth, and called it home. I found a magic feeling, nowhere to go. So I thought, well, okay, it seems like he's found an island or he's found land and has decided to claim it as his own. And he goes on and he talks about maybe being abandoned by everybody, maybe including the gods. And he realizes at some point in the song, maybe when it shifts, that he needs to find a balance and letting his animal side react because he can't live this normal civilized life anymore because he's just trying to survive at this point.
Yes. That's see what? No, okay. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because you did spend so much time
Yeah.
on it. See, and now I feel bad because you're over here with all these good theories and all these things that make sense. And all I have to say is, yeah, that's probably right. I bet
That's
you're
all.
right.
That's all. I was really hoping that you knew more of the lyrics than I did in coming into this, but I'm not. I'm not disappointed. We're not angry, just disappointed. No, I'm not disappointed.
I am. I'm very disappointed in myself. Is the problem?
No, see, the thing is, because you don't know what's going on, you can't tell me I'm wrong. So I just get to ride this high of being right all the time.
That is true. You get to do that. So keep doing that, and I'll keep agreeing with you.
Will do. Right into the next song, unless you had something else to say.
No, I don't, because
Cool.
I feel dumb.
Don't feel dumb. Maybe you just need to step outside, go out to the beach, and feel a nice crystal gale blow across your face. Crystal Gale is the sixth track. Don't laugh. Crystal Gale.
Well,
track 6.
See, that was so much more of a twist than I thought it was. I thought you were going somewhere with like a crystal ball or something. I forgot.
No, see, I don't try to segue individual words. I try to just go for the gusto and get it all in.
That's probably why they work whenever you do them.
Nah, they only work half the time. Crystal Gale, it's
Very
the song.
short
It's too damn short. This is the second album that you've given me in which my favorite track on the album is too damn short.
Ooh, favorite
This song
track.
is so good. I like this song a lot. There's no drums. Maybe that's why I like it. I don't know. There's no drums on it. It's just vocals and guitar and bass. It sounds very clean and relaxing a bit. Lyrically, this song, going along with my story, it seems like he is setting sail once again. He needs to prepare to leave, or maybe he's having a dream or a vision, I guess is specifically what it is. He's having this dream that he wants to leave or he needs to leave, and he's having this vision that when he does, he's going to have a crystal gale in his sails, but there's something coming and he can't quite make out what it is. And it honestly, to me, I think I picked up the words hellbound still a blowing. I don't know if that's accurate, but maybe he's sailing to hell in his vision, or maybe in reality he's trying to get to hell to fight this beast,
or to get back the person that he loves,
which may or may not be himself.
or his arm. I don't know.
Or his arm or leg. There's a lot of questions that we don't have answers to.
All I know is I heard at one point something about still sleepwalking, and I was like, "That's part of the name."
That's the last lyric they sing in the song. It's just still sleepwalking.
There you go.
Except not like he's operatic.
But maybe if he did, they could have done something with that.
Hey, if you're listening to this, Helms Alee, I know you are because I sent it to you. Hit me up on your next album. I'll do some operatic vocals in the background.
I do really like this song though. I get the vibe, which this has nothing to do with the whole sailor aesthetic that they're putting into this album. I feel like I should be on a horseback riding through some sort of mountainous landscape. That's
Well, you're
kind of
wrong.
maybe the crystal gale is blowing through my long locks of hair
Yeah,
that
I
I
mean,
don't have.
I don't think that's terribly far from my theory. If he made it to land in the prior track, and now he's kind of thinking about leaving.
Hmm.
I know he's the lyrics at the beginning. He says, "No relief here, these hills,"
There we
um,
go.
or he says something about hills. I couldn't quite make it out, but maybe he went inland and is now like having these visions of needing to leave and get back out on the ocean.
Well, yeah, I mean, who knows? Because the song's only a minute and 34 seconds. So,
It's very short, too short.
yeah, looks like we'll have to. Shit, dude. I was gonna say I was gonna do it again. I was gonna say we need to head. Maybe my horse is heading west or something, but no. The next song is called New West. And what do you
New
think about it?
West.
What do you think about it? Since it features so heavily the female vocalist in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't note any specific track as having worse or better female vocals. I think just overall on the album, I'm not crazy about them.
Well, okay, because I don't know. I like this song. It's not my favorite, like much
Yeah,
like Pinniped,
it's a
but
slow, groovy song.
yeah. And then it kind of builds because at the beginning she says like ride on or something, which it's
Yeah,
called New West, and it kind of made me think of like cowboys because I was like
sure.
right. But I
Because
know,
you're now you're stuck in this horseback imagery.
yeah. So like, when did I switch from being a sailor chasing down a giant anglerfish to some cowboy out in the mountains like Red Dead Redemption type
So
stuff?
for what it's worth, I interpreted the first lyrics instead of "right on." It sounded like she said "light up, right up," and then hit that switch and row. Is what I got out of it. I'm sure that's not 100% correct,
That's
but
probably way more correct than mine.
I'm pretty sure it's more than horseback cowboys. But
Yeah, yeah.
continue with your theory though.
Oh no, I don't have a theory because I'm wrong. That's what.
Yeah, I think the song has a lot of musical progression, like you mentioned. It starts slow and groovy, and it kind of builds, and it feels like this song, music alone, it feels like a journey leading into some
Mhm.
massive battle at the end of it. Um, this is where I started paying attention to the female vocals as a character,
Mhm.
and I think this female voice could represent an angel or a manifestation of his need to survive, telling him that hey, you got to get your ass in gear because if not, you're gonna die. And it sounds like he's getting tired and exhausted of being out on the sea for so long, and he's just getting exhausted, and then he falls into the sleep and dreams of leaving everything he once knew to maybe find something new, which I guess he was already doing in some way. But I really think the female voice is some like internal angel kind of a thing, like that comes to him when he sleeps and dreams, kind of giving him some direction or some peace, or in this case, trying to get him in gear.
That would make sense with your lyrics, not with mine. But I like that theory. I like it. It doesn't rub me the wrong
Yeah,
way.
the reason specifically I'm using the word angel is because I think in the chorus, I don't know if it's chorus or verse. I did not delineate my notes very well, but there's a phrase that they repeat a couple times, saying "tossing, turning in the fire, honest angels sworn to keep." Is what I heard from it. So I kind of stuck with the angel thing. I was like, wait a minute, maybe the female voice is the angel that they're referring to that's trying to like help him on his journey.
Yeah, that sounds right. Once again, from the guy who doesn't know anything.
It's okay. It's okay.
No,
Maybe you'll get it next time. Next album. You'll
no,
have more to say than I will.
no, no, I won't because the next album is gonna be one that you pick out.
Yeah, but you're still gonna know more about it than I will. It's gotta there's gotta be balance.
Maybe I'm gonna write a novel about the next album. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, if you don't, I'm gonna come over to your house. I'm gonna murder you, and you're gonna end up like a carcass. I can't work. I can't work the word fetus in because I don't know how to call you a fetus. But the next song,
because I'm just a baby who doesn't know anything
I'm
about
just a baby.
lyrics. No,
Track 8,
we can't breathe.
fetus. It's too, just let it happen.
No, no.
Fetus, carcass is the name of the 8th track. I don't have a lot of notes on this one. I think this track musically was pretty uninteresting to me. It's just I feel like it's so hard to hear the lyrics and try to weave all these songs together with just guesses.
Yeah.
But this is the point where I think lyrically it seemed like he had gotten a wound and it had become infected, causing him to pass out. And the animal inside of him is screaming, trying to wake him up. Because at the end of the song, the harsh vocals come in and say, "Once awake, but now I'm sleeping. Now wake, awake, awake," and he's just screaming it, trying to like wake himself up to like not die rotting in the sun on lost at sea somewhere.
Well, the only thing I had, because like you, there's not too much going on that's different musically in this song.
Right.
But one thing that I did like that they did is, so Dana was singing, and at the end of the verses, the first verse in which she sings, they do this cool transition where it seems like they take her voice and mix it into like a wailing guitar that leads into like the chorus.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was a really cool effect. I like
It
it.
is. It's a cool effect in an otherwise kind of samey, uninteresting track, unfortunately.
Yeah. Not to say that I have any sort of beef with Helms Alee and their stylings.
Their slow music.
Yeah, their slow beefs. But yeah, the next song is Slow Beef. So
Oh, is it?
it is. It
I
is.
thought you were just going with that you had beef with them, but
Nope.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. No, it's but this song, it does kind of build like some sort of beef in a slow cooker. That's that's how I'm kind of gonna play it, because I don't know the lyrics once again.
Yeah, the lyrics were really hard to get out on this one. But before I explain to you the correct story of this song,
Oh god.
musically this track has a very like surfy vibe. There's like a lot of reverb and like twang.
Oh yeah.
I really dig. It lends itself to this concept of being adrift at sea, kind of baking in the sun
Mm-hmm.
and drifting on the edge of consciousness, trying not to die by falling asleep and then rotting in the sun. But I don't know. It's very good. And it seems like when the drums and the guitars kick in about like 2 minutes in, it's like a 5 minute song, I think,
Yeah.
which is pretty long compared to a lot of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But the drums and the guitar come in, and it sounds kind of uplifting and hopeful, maybe like he's waking up and is once again driven to get somewhere. There are only female vocals on this track, and I couldn't really hear them, but I think my interpretation, the one bit that I could clearly make out, that I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think she says, "Feel the brigade running the waves to trade," or something. So in my mind, I think his angel is trying to get him to find a trade route or try to figure out where a trade route is near him so that maybe he can get picked up by like a passing trade ship of some sort, because that's his only chance of survival at this point.
Well, there you go. I'd go with that. Once again, I just
Deferring to me.
I just like the melody, like the vocal melody that goes on.
Yeah,
It's a very spacey type song, which
for sure.
is, given how the rest of the album went, it's a nice little change of pace near the end of the album, kind of
Yeah.
putting it in there.
And I think again, like, because it's only the female vocals and the music is so like chill and spacey, I think there's some connection there where, like, I mean, granted, like, yeah, they could just say like, well, when she sings, we want it to sound safe, like spacey,
Yeah.
but I think there is that additional thing where like she is some otherworldly being kind of a thing.
Hmm.
So they want it to feel a bit more echoey and empty and big, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not bionic.
Yeah, I don't know how to get this one in.
Uh,
This track 10, animatronic bionic, just immediately from the song title alone, I'm like, this doesn't fit in with what I'm thinking the story is at all. There's no way that I'm right about this man being lost at sea,
mhm.
and also he's a cyborg or something. But immediately the music is just intense in this track,
Mhm.
and it picks up this weird rhythm that's kind of jarring just as much as the song title being animatronic bionic and what I thought the story was. I couldn't make out most of the lyrics here, um, but I believe they say something about smelting light and then drive it down into muscle and to marrow. So hear me out. I'm going to choose to believe, regardless of how ridiculous it is, that this song is about the protagonist, their Ahab figure, getting a robotic arm bestowed upon him by his angel. Because it beats having a peg leg or a hook hand.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, o- if I'm just going by song titles here, because I don't fully know the lyrics to the next song, but I think that could potentially work into the next song, if that is true.
Big if true.
Big if true.
But yeah, I think that kind of lends itself to the infection that we've been talking about. Maybe he
Hmm.
did lose a limb, and now he's gotten it replaced with some animatronic bionic limb that has been gifted upon him by this spacey angel figure,
I
perhaps.
mean, and just to go with a musical theme, because that seems to be my end of the bargain on this on this shit. It starts off with him like he's screaming, and I know I like it's not. It sounds like it's not a musical type scream. It sounds to me like he's in pain or he's
Yeah.
scared of so like it doesn't really go with the music, and he is just like ah!
Yeah.
So if he is getting an animatronic leg or arm or just whatever he's getting, I think that could be it getting attached to him.
It could be for sure. The other lyrics that I think I got is at some point he says "left in sorrow." And then at another point, I feel like they said spells divine, but maybe that's because I was already looking too far into this angel thing, being some heavenly creature. But yeah, I think it's a cool twist to a sailor thing, even if they didn't intend it to be that way.
Yeah,
That's my headcanon now.
there we go. Headcanon. Maybe that'll be his next animatronic add-on.
he'll, he'll get a headcanon installed, yeah.
This okay, this song though. This song I forgot about it until just now when I remembered it. It's this was the one that I wanted to bring up the fact about something related to the drums getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
There is a fucking cymbal that gets hit so many times in this song. And it
Uh,
is just like
yeah.
and it's just like over and over
It's
again.
kind of
It almost
grating, yeah.
to the point where it puts me in some sort of like fugue state where I don't know what's real anymore, and I feel like it's just and it's normally I like that type of thing in music, but this
Yeah.
is like the other end of the spectrum. Like, because there's some music where you listen to it and it like puts you in another world and you like forget that you exist, almost to the point of like ego death, where you become the world and you are no longer yourself. This
Right.
did that, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, it's a very jarring song. I think the drums play into that. It's yeah, I don't know. Jarring is the best word I can think of. It's just kind of like, what the fuck is going on, kind of a
Yeah,
thing. Which, I mean, it makes sense if the
yeah,
song is about a fucking sailor lost at sea getting an animatronic bionic arm or something. Like, it's just as jarring. So maybe that's what they were going for.
yeah, definitely. Side note, I'm a little bit sorry. I just looked at the wave form from our recording software to where I was
At the
yep, and it was just like
it's fine.
boom.
Your mic's always quiet anyway, so I can work with it.
Oh my god. Well, sounds like if he's got a new bionic arm, he better start dodging the lightning whenever he's out at sea.
Indeed, because that would be no bueno.
Boom, boom. But that was probably my best segue ever. So
Yeah,
I'm
it was
just
good. You should have just went with it. I wouldn't have said anything.
no, but isn't that the whole point? Don't I have to make
To
those
call them
segue
out.
is to call it out?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that's
No.
maybe that's just our thing now.
But the next song though, Dodge the Lightning. This one to me seems like vibe wise, it has the most kind of deep sea oceanic vibe to
Yeah,
me.
it's got a very surfy vibe again,
hmm Like
and
whenever
it,
the
it's
hmm
this is the point where I felt like maybe the instruments themselves were also symbolizing characters. Like I know there's a lot of characters in my mind
yeah,
from each different like vocalist and each different instrument at this point, but like I feel like the surfy guitar is a character that is fighting against the big fuzzy loud bass and guitar that comes throughout the album, which could be the man's sanity kind of coming in, or it could also symbolize this angel figure when she doesn't have vocals.
yeah, yeah, because it does like there's just whenever the twangy guitar comes in, I think it's around like a minute and a half in the song. Uh, it's just like the vocals are super airy.
Yeah,
It's it. I feel like I'm floating when I'm listening to this part of the song,
floating
and
in an ocean or
yeah,
in the sea. Maybe this is where we're wrong. I just blew my mind here.
oh
Maybe
god,
this is a sci-fi album. He's not sailing in a sea. He's sailing through the fucking outer space trying to find some alien creature. It all
let me.
makes sense now. And when he
Oh,
said he plants a flag in land to call it his own, maybe that was another planet.
and he's been out in space for so long. Holy shit, dude!
He's losing his fucking mind.
I think you might be onto something because this anglerfish on the album artwork, it's
Yeah.
got some weird dangly little stuff coming off of it. Like
Yeah.
it's got tentacles. That I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge to be able to make any theories on this album, so I'm sorry about
Sure.
that. But
I mean, it's an alternate theory. I mean,
yeah,
it could be a space, it could be the ocean. Who knows?
maybe the ocean is just space in real life, though.
I can't accept that right now. I think I would have to stop recording and go cry in a bathtub somewhere if I allowed myself to accept that. So I'm not gonna. This song, however, feels like a perfect finale. It's a very big big ending to this album. I know my note here says literally, man, these vocals are so unintelligible. Even what I picked out doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. But I think there's this use of sunlight and waking up again that kind of feels like the protagonist is struggling with consciousness as he has been throughout this whole album.
Yeah,
That he's been maybe lost in the darkness trying to find his way home or a way to wake up. Maybe he's just been asleep for half this album. I don't fucking know.
maybe that's where the sleepwalking is.
Yeah,
Maybe this whole thing has just been him going through emotion.
it could be. It could very well be. But overall, I enjoyed this album uh, when I was just listening to it and enjoying it. And then when I had to dig out the lyrics, I kind of resented the act of putting myself through it and just like looping 5 second clips over and over again until I could figure out the lyrics. And I'm still unsure of half of the lyrics. I do enjoy the narrative that I kind of forced into this album, which is again, it's like a person maybe struggling with an inner demon, getting overwhelmed and succumbing to them, and then trying to like get themselves back. I feel like if I had the official lyrics, everything would make much more sense, and there's probably even more like layers of metaphor than I realize. But I like it. It's musically good. There are a few tracks that we kind of mentioned that are kind of samey, and it's hard not to compare them to Mastodon.
Yeah.
but they could definitely be a worse version of Mastodon. Not that they're
Yeah.
trying to be a version of Mastodon, but
But if it was going to go that route, they could have definitely done worse.
yeah, for sure. I like the genre. I can definitely listen to this album again, but getting my notes together was kind of exhausting for this episode.
Man, see that I don't know. I had a much better experience until the actual recording of this because I didn't do what you did. Just listening to it was very pleasant. But
Yeah.
having to think about the lyrics in a way which I had never done before was like, oh shit. I,
Yeah.
I've never even I've listened to this album so many times and I don't think I've ever heard a word on this album. Like
That's how I feel about most albums, Joey. That's every week that I recommend an album. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that they sang about this.
well, maybe next week I can outdo you and then it'll make up for it.
I don't know. It's going to be pretty easy to understand what's being said in the next album. Speaking
Well, what
of,
is that next album?
next week we're going to be listening to an artist named Melanie Martinez. We're continuing this dark pop foray. This the album is a bit more poppy than what we've been doing. Again, I've been kind of transitioning from the darker, more I guess edgier pop music towards Tuvlu, who is dark pop, but there's a lot of like upbeat synths and very clear female strong leads and stuff. But this album, Crybaby by Melanie Martinez, is one of the first dark pop albums that I really got into, and it has some pretty heavy lyrical content. Despite me not
Hell
really
yeah.
listening to lyrics, I'm very aware of a lot of lyrics on this album because I've heard it enough times that it's just kind of sunk in, and I really enjoy it, and I think you might enjoy it as well.
Well, I hope I do. But I'm at least going to know what the lyrics are because I'm going to if if it takes 10 hours of just pure lyrical research, I'm going to do it.
You're gonna get every word's meaning, aren't you?
Yeah. That's going to be my notes are just going to be the lyrics. Just printed off on it and I'm just going to read them and try to interpolate what I mean.
A point of clerical order. We are not doing the deluxe edition. There is a deluxe edition that adds like 3 more tracks or something, but we're gonna stick with the original 13. It's a 46-minute album, so a bit longer than what we've been doing. But just want to get that out there before people were listening to the deluxe edition and then got pissed that we didn't talk about the extra songs. Because people are definitely going to be upset because people are definitely listening to this this podcast, especially the members of the band Helms Alee.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to have 3 views
It's
or
going to be
listens.
each of them.
It's each of them. Just
Yeah.
once. Except where they're only going to have like 5 listen minutes each and they're going to be like, "No, fuck
Yeah.
these guys."
They're like, yeah, this is boring as hell. I don't need someone to explain my album to me.
I wrote the album. Well, one day, by chance, that's the thing. We need to keep listening to smaller and smaller and smaller artists.
Yeah.
That way, eventually,
I mean, honestly, I feel like we could reach out to some of the artists that we've done and probably get a response.
the only person who I could foreseeably see that happening with would be tallest man on earth, Christian, because
Hey,
he's a very nice guy. He's an extremely nice guy. I was watching one of his live streams from the stay-at-home concerts that he was doing on YouTube. Dude responded to my comment or like little chat thing and he ended up playing a song not on that live stream but on another live stream that I had requested and it was very nice.
He basically knows who you are then.
Exactly. He could
You can
come
just text him.
He'd come straight up to my house and I'd be like, yeah, that guy. I know him.
We're off topic again. If you guys want to communicate with us, we are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you want to listen to the episode on a different platform, we're on YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. And if you want us to be on another platform, let us know. We'll get there. I promise.
Yeah.
At some point.
Eventually.
It might take a week or two. At least we're more caught up now on our episodes. We're releasing these episodes, I think, 2 weeks after we record them. which
Yeah.
is pretty timely, I think. So just be patient.
Yeah.
If you tweet us or leave us a comment or something, we'll act on it. I promise.
Yeah. We'll definitely respond like
Yeah.
immediately. It's not like
Yeah.
we have anything else to do. So,
It's not like we have jobs.
or jobs that require us to be present all the time, at
It's
least.
true. We're in Corona times. We're all working from home if we can.
Yeah. But before I say too much and get fired, I guess we should wrap this up.
You think we should? I mean, I kind of
No.
like rambling on for people to hear. We are over our time budget.
Yeah.
But we make
it doesn't even
here.
matter. Yeah, especially because, you know, I've noticed a trend, and that trend is I'm the only person watching on YouTube.
I don't think it's a good thing, Joey. I think that's a not good thing. I mean, I guess silver lining, because then no one knows that we're dicking around at the end of our episodes. But
Well, that's the thing. If somebody gets in here, like, especially on this, I really fucking dropped the ball on the lyrics, at least for this album. It caught me off
no,
guard.
it was good.
No, it wasn't good. What are you talking about, Jeremy? It was terrible.
It was good. It was a good role reversal. This is therapy, Joey. You got to learn to be in the other person's shoes for a hot minute.
I felt as uncomfortable as I have felt in therapy, so I will agree that it was probably like that.
Well, good. We'll do it again. Maybe you should just stop paying attention to lyrics, and I should stop paying attention to music, and we'll piece together what the fuck's going on every album.
Nah, man, because at some point in the future, I'm going to be recommending some albums on here that are going to take some actual like lyrical analysis.
That's
And
unfortunate.
Yeah, like there are going to be, I guess it's not what symbolism, a lot of symbolism, a lot of metaphors using that symbolism. It's gonna be
Okay.
It's gonna be a
Okay.
lot. Yeah.
I will begrudgingly research lyrics and put more thought into them.
Even if you don't like the singer's voice, will you do that?
Yeah, I guess at least I'll enjoy the lyrics. Maybe if I can't like their voice, I know where you're going with this, and I'm not happy about it. Maybe if I'm right.
No,
but...
where do you think I'm going? No, I guess you shouldn't say. I guess we
We'll
shouldn't.
discuss that after we stop this recording. Until next time, please come back. Please come back.
Are we still recording? What's
We're still
happening?
recording. Stay in our feedback loop.
Bye.